the ADI Part 3 marking sheet, where it says, were the pupils' queries followed up and answered? Why does it say that? Well, because when a pupil asks a question, they're showing you where their gap in knowledge and understanding actually is. In the ADI Part 3, one of the clearest signs of a client-centered, high-quality lesson is how well you listen, you respond, and you follow up when a pupil asks a question. The examiner is looking for this. Were the pupil's questions followed up and answered appropriately? Now, this isn't just about saying yes or no. It's about whether you took the question seriously, whether you gave an answer that was clear, relevant, and correct, whether you checked that the pupil understood it, and that you use that moment to build confidence or deepen learning and understanding. So let's break that down, how to do it well. Every time a question comes your way. Why does it matter so much when a pupil asks a question? Well, it means they're engaged in the learning process. They're curious. They're ready to learn. If you respond with depth and clarity, that curiosity turns into confidence. If you brush it off or miss the opportunity, it actually chips away at trust and momentum. They know the answer, but they don't know the reason why. So realistically, they don't know the answer. It's not just a question, it's a doorway into development. What does a good response look like? Well, let's say the pupil asks, why do I need signal if there's no one around? A good response would be, do you know, that's a great question. Even if you think no one's around, putting a signal on is a habit that ensures others always know your intention. For instance, someone might be approaching from a blind spot, or a pedestrian could be just about to walk out of their driveway. It's about building routine and safety every time. What you've done by that is acknowledge the question, answered with relevance and clarity. You've reinforced a key learning point, and you've made it meaningful to the pupil. And that's exactly what the DVSA wants to see. How do we follow up effectively and acknowledge the question? Well, you can say, good question. Tell you what, let's look at that together. And answer in a way that matches their level. Don't over-explain, but also don't under-answer. Use clear, everyday language. Link it to the real world. You might say, do you know what? This comes up a lot during the test. So it shows you're thinking ahead by asking that question. Check understanding when you answer. Does that make sense? Want to try that out at the next junction? See how we go? You can use it to shape the lesson. If their question reveals a learning gap, adapt the plan to cover it. What we want to avoid is giving a rushed, vague answer. Yes, brushing the question off with, well, we'll come back to that, and then totally forgetting about it. Answering too technically, or using jargon that ignores the opportunity to explore the deeper skill or decision behind the question. From the examiner's perspective, when you tick this box, it means the examiner, or shows the examiner, that you're listening to the learner. The answers you give, they're relevant, they're accurate, they're well pitched. The pupil is clearly benefiting from asking the trainer questions. The trainer is supporting curiosity and building understanding. And this shows a strong performance from you in teaching and learning strategies, communication, and a client-centered approach. You know, every question your pupil asks is a gift. It's a window into how they're thinking, what they need, and where the next opportunity to grow is. So when they ask, don't just answer. Teach, coach, clarify, and inspire.